We had a machine just like this shortly after we were married. My wife earned a living with it for a while. I used it too. Foot power and everything. It was something. Of course, times changed. Electricity came along, and machines became portable. Machines got fancier and able to do more. This is my machine right now. And then they became electronic. This is my wife's machine. It's all full of fancy stuff. Oh, they thread different, and the bobbin fits different, and the tensions are different, but underneath the hood, they're pretty much the same. Take a look at these parts of the machine. Get to know them, because you're going to want to know where they are and how to use them.
These things under the presser foot are called the feed dogs. They move back and forth, keeping the fabric moving one way or the other, while the needle goes up and down, pushing the thread through. The more feed dogs you have under here, the more secure the grip is. And one of the things you really want to look for is feed dogs in front of the needle, because when you first start out, that's where most of the fabric is going to be. If you don't have feed dogs in front of the needle, you're going to have a hard time getting things started. There's a lever that goes up and down in this part of the machine. That helps move the thread through the machine, keeping it moving while the needle and the bobbin work together to lay the stitches down. You want the needle to be at the top of its run and this lever to be at the top of its run whenever you're going to put fabric into the machine or take fabric out of the machine. When they're in that position, all of the mechanisms down here are related in such a way that it should pull out very smoothly. For now, you need to make sure that the thread goes through the machine properly, that it's in all of the little holders that it's supposed to be in, so it guides through smoothly. Let's give the beast a try. Start with the fabric, just one layer of fabric, put it underneath the presser foot, and lower the presser foot down. Now when you're running the fabric through, don't look at the needle. You don't drive a car watching the hood ornament. Don't try and sew watching the needle. You don't have any way to make adjustments if you do that. What you want to do is pick out a guide, and in this case we'll use the edge of the fabric. Pick out a guide and run it along some longer area on the throat plate, or in this case we'll use the edge of the presser foot. There are engraved markings on the throat plates. These are in the metric system. But now that you've got the fabric in the machine, press down on the foot pedal slowly and gradually until it starts to move. And then just let it run along as slowly as you're comfortable with, guiding that edge of the fabric along the edge of the presser foot. Sometimes it's almost easier and more accurate to go a little faster. Adjust the needle, pull the fabric out, and snip the threads close to the fabric. And there it is, your first stitch line. Aren't you proud? But look at this. See how all puckered up it is? that means that the tension is too tight. So we're going to lower that tension a little bit down to about the middle of the range. Now let me show you something else here. If you give this a snap, you're going to break the threads. The threads broke right there. That's because the tension was too tight and the thread would not handle the stress. That's not the best thing you want with your gear, is for a stitch line to give way because the tension is too tight. So we lowered the tension. We're going to run that first stitch line along the side of the presser foot, and we're going to do another stitch line. Get it started slowly. Adjust the needle. Pull the fabric out. Snip it off. Now that's better. That's more like it. And when you go ahead and snap it, those stitches aren't going to break. That's a good stitch line. Nice and smooth on each side. No bumps, no breaking. Fold the fabric in half, right next to the one we just laid down. Except this time, we're going to stitch through both layers of fabric, and we're going to lock the stitch line off. Now you do that by starting the stitch line with just a few stitches. Then run it in reverse and run it forward and continue. When you get to the end, reverse it a few stitches and back. Adjust your needle, pull the fabric out, there you go. Now, open up that fabric and take a look at that stitch you just did. If you pull on it, it should be a nice, tight join. You shouldn't be able to see the threads. You shouldn't be able to see where they loop through. There shouldn't be little puckers between the threads. Because this is a test, fold it back out again and give it that good snap. And again, those stitches held. That's a good tension. That's a good stitch. Now, from here on, everything builds on that process. Once you can do that, you can do anything.